Hello everybody. You may notice my setting. I am in fact in a cabin in the woods right now. I've actually had this video planned out for like a solid month now, but I was waiting because I wanted to get to the cabin to film this. And my original plan was to film outside, but it's very hot. I don't have anywhere to put my phone, I don't have a tripod. So you get from me my room in my cabin with this view of the woods. Now, with that being said, I do have a few general rules of how I rank these. Now, when I talk about something like a setting, the movies have to fall either 60% in this kind of setting, and for big franchises, I can either choose the original and remake separately to rank, or I can choose one of the sequels, but I never realized I'll do both. And that's just my rules for these kind of rankings. Everyone's different. So with that being said, let's talk about some cabin in the woods horror movies. At number 10, I have Knock at the Cabin. Now, this tells the story of a family who is staying in a cabin who gets a knock at the door telling them if they choose not to kill one of themselves, the world's gonna end. And I do like the idea of this movie. I do think it's entertaining, and I do kind of like the story, but it gets to a point where it's too repetitive because it always happens. They can't choose, and then they show a world event and they shoot themselves, and it's kind of repetitive throughout the movie. I think it's entertaining enough, but the repetitiveness does have to bring it down, and that is kind of why I have it the lowest. But I still think it's a decent movie. At number 9, I have Pumpkinhead. This tells the story of a Pumpkinhead spirit. If when called upon, will go after those. And I like this movie a lot more than I saw it the first time. I do like the kind of characters we get, even though they're very stereotype characters, and that does kind of get in the way for me. I still enjoy this one. I do think it's a little bit unknown. I think it is known, but I think it's a little bit unknown, a little bit underrated. My biggest thing with this movie is I think it's good. I enjoy it, but I think it just shows that it's very dated to me when I watch it, because it kind of goes down. I'm like, this is very dated when I watch it again, and I'm like, okay, it's still enjoyable, but a little dated. At number 8, I have Cabin Fever. I would say this is a very generic horror movie, but why I have it placed here number 8 and not 10 is simply because I think this is the most enjoyable movie when it comes to cliches. This does tell the story of a fever getting to the cabin. A very cliche kind of movie story, but this is just a good example of it done right. And I'm talking about the original. And at number 7, I have the Friday the 13th, 2009 remake. I did not include the original because I had a summer camp, and this does mainly take place either in an abandoned cabin or another cabin, so it's why I included this one. And I did enjoy this one. Upon rewatch, a little bit has gone down, and this tells the story of a brother who runs into a teen while looking for a sister, and they run into Jason. I do think this is an enjoyable movie. I think it's a good Friday the 13th movie in the franchise. I do think it's a pretty decent slasher, but where it loses me is the characters are very generic, yes, but the two finalists, one gets taken out like the original one did, like the kite brought her down, but they wouldn't have survived without the other. I would have preferred if the other girl that was going along survived. The survivors would not have survived Jason without people helping them, and they have the weakest of the probably survivors of this list for me personally, so that's kind of why I have it there, but I still think it's a good movie, so that's why I put it above everything else. At number 6, I have Hush. This tells the story of a deaf girl who gets a home invasion at her home in the cabin in the woods. I did not like this movie when I saw it first, but I have come around to it and I do enjoy it. I do like the little twist on home invasion as well, because I'm not a big fan of stranger and home invasion movies, but I enjoyed this one. I like that she was deaf, so it gave her a little bit of an edge and a little bit a big disadvantage, right? But the way this character acts, I think, is kind of really smart. And I do like the way she acts, and even when she calls for help or gets help, they get killed. So I do like that aspect. I do think it's a well done, good movie, and it's something I don't really see a lot, especially when it comes to deafness, so I'm very happy with that one, and I do think it's one of the better movies of like Cabin in the Woods story. At number 5, I have the Evil Dead remake. I struggled to place this because I do like this. I do like Mia's character. I do like they give them a reason why they didn't leave the cabin. I do think the gore is still good. The characters, I mean, they're cliches, but I like Mia. Mia's a great final girl. But I did recently go to a horror convention where I did meet the original Evil Dead cast, and I like the more like practicalness of the first Evil Dead. So I chose basically to rank this one at 5, and going right into my number 4, we have Evil Dead the original. Like I said, I managed to meet the cast. They were really nice, except for one person, but they weren't at the convention. And I do like the practical effects the more I learn about this movie. I do think you can kind of tell it was dated, but it is a very classic movie for a reason. It's a great movie. It is a great Cabin in the Woods movie, and I think this is where, when you're like, where did the Cabin in the Woods trend start? You can look at the original Evil Dead and be like, okay, this is kind of where it started. So I have to go to that, and I also really do enjoy it. At number 3, I have the Cabin in the Woods. Now this tells the story of teenagers who go to a cabin in the woods stay, but it turns out to be very vastly different. Where to start with this one? I enjoy this one a lot. It kind of went over my head the first time I watched it, but on rewatch, it is very funny. I like the cliches, especially when they're making fun of like, what's gonna happen here? What's gonna happen here? And just, I enjoy this one so much. I feel like this is very talked about, very well known, so I can't really add anything original in it. But this is a great Cabin in the Woods movie with a different spin on it, and making fun of the franchise and like type of horror movies at the same time. I enjoy this one. I really like it a lot, and I'm really glad that it stands alone and does not have a sequel. Great movie. At my number 1 and 2 are hard. At number 2, I have Misery. What can I even start with this one? This tells the story of a book writer who gets kidnapped by a very crazy fan. It does not go well. First of all, I have to say something about Kathy Bates' performance in this, as great performances in this movie overall. And even stuff, there's like that one scene where she touches rib. Oh my god. This is an amazing movie, and it has won awards for a very good reason. And Stephen King has said this is one of his favorite adaptations. This is a great movie. If anyone has not seen it, I would really check it out. And on rewatch, it just got better for me because again, I didn't really appreciate the acting so much in this one, but her performance as the fan in this one is insane as Annie. Oh my god, this is a great movie. And it is classic. I can't really add more to that. It is a classic movie, very well done. I have nothing negative to say about it at all. And my number 1, I might be a little biased here, is Tucker and Dale versus Evil. This is the perfect slasher movie to me. It is not only funny with the miscommunications and that one scene where he jumps in the hopper and he's like doing it. It's really funny. Yes, you have cliches in this one, but just the deaths make it really funny with the cliches. This is a perfect horror movie for me. Perfect slasher, no notes, very funny, would watch again, ages well with me. And that is why I have it at my number 1. It's just the perfect movie. When I talk about Cabin in the Woods, I'm like, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's a great movie. So really, with that being said, this was my top 10 movies for a Cabin in the Woods setting. I do have more videos kind of planned out like this. I don't know fully yet. But let me know what you guys think of videos like this. I might do more in the future. And I'll see you guys soon with a brand new video.